Welcome back to Egg Geek Speak. We have a very exciting episode. Today, we are going to be visiting with Egg with Emma. Emma, we are very excited to have you today. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Emma has actually been using GK Technologies ADMS software for doing some precision agriculture things. And so we're going to be talking about that coming up here. But to get things started, we thought we'd just visit a little bit with Emma. She is a social media influencer for agriculture, which is super fascinating to me. And we're going to talk a little bit about how she got into that and how she got into her whole career. She's had just kind of a very dynamic and interesting career so far. So, Emma, where are you from?
Well, I'm from Southern Idaho. I grew up over there. I've been all over the place. I was born in New Hampshire, but I've just state jumped. I've lived a lot of different places. But I grew up in Southern Idaho, so 8, 9, 10-ish years I was over there. So we're just gonna count that as where I'm from. During high school and everything, I was involved in FFA. My dad managed a farm in Southern Idaho, or helped manage it anyway. So we didn't get to really go be on the farm with him since it was more of a corporate vibe. You can't really go ride along kind of thing. You can't have your dad teach you how to drive tractors. So I was just involved in local community stuff like FFA, helping neighbors with chores. We'd feed animals for neighbors when they were gone and stuff like that. But after high school, I started college. I went to College of Southern Idaho. It's a community college, and I got my degree in general agriculture. It was emphasis in crop production, agronomy, plant science kind of deal. And then after that, I was going to go get my bachelor's, but then I decided against that. I went for a semester, decided it wasn't for me for right now. And then I went to work on a farm back in Southern Idaho. And after, during all of this time, I started Ag with Emma. And I started Ag with Emma because I was also, during my time at CSI, I was working in seed production, which is a huge thing in Idaho because of their climate and everything. And we were doing sugar snap peas. So after I had talked with my family and friends about that, no one really knew what I was doing at work. So I started making videos about it, and I didn't think it would ever turn into what it is now, because as of right now, I'm probably sitting at around 750,000 followers over the internet. And I started with 50 subscribers. It took me 6 months to get 50 subscribers. I was I just chugged away at it, and I wasn't even trying to blow up and be famous. I was just meeting new people, and I was having a lot of fun. I was learning a lot. During the time that I started, my parents moved to Iowa, so I was driving from Idaho to Iowa, and I was seeing all these new things that I hadn't seen before, huge grain bin sites and, corn without irrigation. I didn't know, irrigation wasn't a thing everywhere. It just wasn't a concept that I was familiar with, because when I was younger, you don't pay attention to that stuff. I didn't, at least. So your farm kids that know that. I wasn't that kid. So after I started driving out there, I started connecting with other people that were also sharing on the internet. I was added to some group chats with people that were like, oh yeah, what she does is really cool. You should get to know her. And then I'd go and meet up with people on my drives, or people would just let me stay at their houses, let me go look at their farm the next day kind of thing, and leave. So when I went to college, I was doing the podcast, and then I dropped out because I got one of my friends I met off TikTok was a custom harvester, or he ran with a crew. And I was like, that looks really cool, because they get the big drone shots, the little combines lined up. And I'm like, I've never seen that before. So I did a podcast episode with him. And then after we're done with the podcast, I'm like, okay, how do I go do this? And they're like, well, you can send us a resume. And I was like, brother, no way. I just talked myself into this. I don't even know how to drive a tractor. So
wait a second. You went harvesting on a harvest crew, and you had never driven a tractor or a combine before?
I had driven a 3010, little
a small one.
Yeah, nothing huge, and no huge grain cart on the back. When the first time I took the 8R and the 1200 bushel cart down the road, I almost started crying, because I was like, this is insane. I had my guy with me to okay, it's gonna be okay, but he's like, make sure you turn your flashers on, take it really slow. I probably drove 5 miles an hour down the road, now bombing at 31, just whipping it around. But it was great. I don't know why I was so intimidated, but the first time I ever dumped on a truck, just bushels over the side, just piles and piles, and I had to go over there and scoop it all up. But it was a learning experience, to say the least. Yeah.
Yes.
I hadn't been in a combine cab ever,
really,
before that. I knew combine, I knew how they worked to some degree, but I'd never just sat in a like the first time I rode along with my boss, he was trying to teach me how to run a combine. It was just all so foreign and new to me. Like I had just learned how to drive a tractor real good. I mean, proficiently, I guess would be the word, maybe.
I like real good better.
Real good, real goodish.
Real
And then
good-ish.
I like got in the combine and he started letting me take over the combine after dinner some nights. And then after I was done with Harvest Crew, that was from May to November of 2022. And then I went to Australia and went and drove combine and grain cart down there. So
you've been to Australia to go and do custom harvesting down there.
it was just for a family that I knew. I went and helped them out for a couple weeks. So I did canola harvest down there the year they had all the flooding. So they were like, you have literally chosen the worst year to come and run harvest.
Did you say canola?
Yeah.
Canola in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
We passed a
I
lot
was
of
in
canola
Victoria.
fields,
Yeah. I was going to say, you were just down there at like prime time
yeah.
to see all that stuff. So
I've got a video where I'm like, oh look, they're rolling, or they've got canola
in the
swabs.
canola, bud. Get her whipped.
So how is harvest different in Australia than it is in the United States? And
I mean, there's a lot more spiders.
ew.
Like you're fueling up
That
the
would not-
combine on the like the fuel deck, and it's nasty. There's spiders falling everywhere. It's disgusting.
Gross.
I haven't ever like.
You do realize that's one of the reasons why I love being from North Dakota, because
Yeah.
it does get to
The
be
bu-
like minus
The spiders
20.
are the riffraff that are kept out by the minus 20. Like,
It's a wow.
yeah.
Did you ever have like any snake issues?
I didn't have any up close incidents, but everyone was always telling me about brown snakes, and it
Yeah.
terrified me. I was so terrified. I
What's
think
the
they
deal
could
with the
sense
brown
my fear.
snake?
They're like more poisonous than rattlesnakes, but they don't rattle. They don't announce themselves.
Yes.
I've been told that they bark.
A barking snake.
So it's so funny because like when we were down there, so I went down with a friend back in December to go look for birds, and like
Yeah.
we saw one eastern brown snake, and then they're like,
yeah.
"Oh, we're just gonna step away. It's fine. You know, if you just mind its own business, it'll be fine." And then we're like, "Oh yeah, we'll just avoid that." And then the next 2 days, we proceeded to see like two by ourselves, just like walking around, and we're like, "We could do with less of these experiences."
The snakes are not.
Again,
Oh.
North Dakota, 30 below. I love it.
Yeah,
It's
kills
paradise.
everything that's not supposed to be here.
See,
So
aren't you glad you are now
I'm
getting
so
to
glad that
embrace
I've-
this?
yes, the cold really does not bother me that much. Like it does a little bit, you know. Like it kind of hurts when you cough today, but it's just
I think
it is what it is.
my like power steering in my pickup has not been good. It's been like -20, and here I am mentioning the weather when I'm not supposed to either. But like it's cold enough where I feel like it's affecting my power steering.
Oh, it definitely that
does.
kind of cold. Yep. Yeah.
That
You got to just let her warm up a little bit. Let her lubricate.
Every now and again, you got to like just turn the wheel so it gets to you.
these are the days that I question a little bit about where I'm living. But
Yes.
But you know what?
But tomorrow it'll be 20 above. So it'll be
yeah,
Exactly. And if I have to pick between snakes and spiders and putting on an extra layer and just letting the car warm up, I know what I'm picking.
Plus, there's no hurricanes or
See?
earthquakes, just blizzards.
Yeah, but
But we don't get those a lot anymore. I mean, you guys probably do because you're on like the flat side.
yeah, you're living in the banana belt
Yeah,
of
the
North
banana-
Dakota.
are the banana belt of North
It was.
Dakota.
It only gets down to 15 below there.
It was -20 this morning. Thank you. Give me 5 more degrees.
So speaking of, you're in North Dakota now,
Yes.
but between Australia and now,
Mm-hmm.
what have
Yeah,
you been
so
up
when
to?
I got back from Australia, it was December of 2022, and then I did like the farm show stint of like traveling around. I did like a couple big trips of visiting people because my parents move around so much. I'm pretty sure this is part of my success story because if they hadn't have moved, I wouldn't have started moving all over the place. Which is fine. I give them a lot of grief for it, but they were in Iowa, then they moved to California. But my mom was still in Iowa when I got back from Australia, and then my dad was working in California because he had to start planting. So my dad actually picked me up from the LAX airport, and we drove to Iowa for Christmas. Like, we took 2 days, and I had just gotten off the freaking 17-hour plane ride. You know how I didn't sleep the whole time on the plane ride back. I was so jet lagged. I slept for 2 days. I'm not even joking. So we drove, and then I was just going from Iowa to California to Idaho. Like, I was just driving all over the place and stopping on farms. And then I made some YouTubes about that. I had a friend that needed some help with farm show stuff, so I helped her for a couple of weeks. And then In between that, I went to Iowa, worked on a dairy for a couple weeks that my brother worked at because I was like, well, I don't know what else to do with my life, and I can just stay with my mom for a couple weeks until I figure something out. And then my boss in North Dakota, the farmer that I've been working for, we harvested for him in 2022. So 2023 rolls around, he calls me, he's like, hey, I have a job for you, and I really like your videos and how you work, so you should come work for me. So in May of 2023, I moved up here, and then I've been up here ever since. So, and then I just started working with Kyle in September of 2024.
And that's Kyle Oki with Agile Agronomy.
Yep. So
okay.
He's the new boss man. But it works really good because I always try to work with people that are okay with being videoed and like helping with videos and okay with like, oh, I need to make this video today. We're going to make it happen. Sometimes it takes a little longer to make those videos and stuff like that, but I think it pays off in the long run. So it's cool to have bosses that are like, yeah, go make a video. Like, yeah, go tour this place. Like, yeah, that video is so cool. So I've always had the best luck with bosses. I get that question a lot. They're like, how'd you get into what you do? And I'm like, I just find people that like being on camera, man. Like that's the easiest part about it. Just gotta find someone that likes seeing their face on the internet and then just go from there. So
that's amazing.
That's just how I've come across all of these things. Just gotta find the right people.
Absolutely. It is an industry of relationships though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
You've done and seen so many things in the last
like 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm only 23.
Oh my gosh.
When I tell people that, they're like, huh?
So like what haven't you seen that you're like, that's on the bucket list? And
I really want to go see sugarcane harvest like so bad. And I want to hit every continent and operate a piece of equipment on every continent. That's a big goal.
Do you know how to drive truck? Do you like driving truck?
I just learned how to do that. So
okay.
I don't drive confidently, but I can move it down the road. I can move it from the bin site to the elevator. Maybe not fast and maybe not safely, but I can move the truck.
I think that's enough of a qualification to drive sugar beet truck.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's I was going to say if you we can't hook you up with sugar cane, but we could get you hooked up with sugar beet harvest.
And I have sugar beet harvest in Idaho actually. I've been
I suppose of course you would. Yep.
So a little bit. Like I've been part of it actively. I've droned it and I've videoed it and stuff like that. And I've worked for farmers that planted beets. So during planting I was helping them with getting planters ready and everything.
But have you ever done sugar beet harvest on a wet Fargo clay?
I haven't. I think this year I'll talk to Kyle about letting me loose for a week so I can come experience it.
It's if it's wet and muddy.
Yeah.
Some of those guys like to equate it to it can be challenging. Character building. Character building.
We're all about the character building.
There's no characters here at this podcast.
Yeah. No character building.
Glad you could join us.
Have you operated a piece of equipment in South America yet?
I haven't. So that's like, I think Europe is on the docket for this year and then South America is next. But I've been hesitant about the South America thing because of safety and like just going with the right people and finding the right people to visit down there. And I know there's a lot of people that have messaged me and like, hey, you can come visit. Like, we'll help you out whenever you come down here. I guess it's just pinpointing where I want to go.
I think I can help you with that. We'll talk later.
Perfect. That's a pin.
It's all about the relationship.
They might put you to work, but I think we can make something happen.
That's okay. I really like those pictures from South America where they have the combines running and then the planters like right behind them and it's like a fleet and they all have those like weird little yellow top things. I think it's so cool.
It is.
Like it's like Arkansas but cooler because I don't know. South America and Arkansas are just the same.
There's like a Venn diagram of like crops and like temperatures
just,
and
overlays.
You have Arkansas,
the South and South America right there. They're holding hands. They're basically
Like it sounds weird, but I think I get exactly what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah. And like Australia is Texas, and then the East Coast is Europe, and then Antarctica is obviously North Dakota.
Yeah.
Just without the polar bears, no snakes.
Have you been to Antarctica yet?
No.
Antarctica yet?
I think that'll probably be like one of the, I don't know, that's a couple of years from now. You got to approach that in the right way. I know I have some connections to like go do stuff down there, but
you have connections to get to Antarctica?
I think I've seen some messages on my platform of like, hey, I have connections. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Agriculture on Antarctica. I would
It's
be
just
curious.
like, I think it's just like, I don't know what they do down there. I don't know if it's like,
Research, pretty much.
yeah, exactly. I don't know what they're, I need to look into it. And that's why I haven't like really touched it yet. I'm like focused on the Europe thing. I really want to go see Clarkson Farms.
Yes.
I
That would be
need
so
to,
fun.
like, that is the goal.
That would be
Like, I need to partner with Fent and go see Clarkson Farms.
You kind of remind me of what's his face? His hired hand, his contractor. What's his name?
The one that no one can understand.
yeah.
Isn't his name Dennis or something? No, the kid. Like with
Yeah.
And he always kind of looks at
the Jeremy, like he's losing his mind.
Why?
Yeah.
I know his name. Why can I?
I do
It's not
too.
coming out of my mouth.
Garth and I just watched the his Amazon special. He's got like
Yes,
he's
yeah.
touring like Great Britain and talking about the importance of farming and
Yes.
agriculture.
And that's why I want to go see him so bad, because
Yes.
he's so involved in that stuff, and I think that would just be a knocker of a video.
Yep.
I
Like,
love it.
You guys are such great ag communicators. Like I would just love to see it. I would watch
And
that.
he's so funny.
he is.
Brother, I would have so much fun with him.
It's hilarious.
That's the goal for this year. And then I think South America is probably like next year or the year after that. So I'll have to chat about the South.
You got it.
Perfect.
It's good to have life goals. Until
Yeah.
then, enjoy North Dakota.
Yeah. Enjoy freezing your ear off.
It's like paradise. If you squint really hard, the snow looks like sand and it's almost like a beach, but not really. Oh, that's awesome. So you've been working with Kyle since when did you start working for Kyle?
I started in September. So harvest got over in like middle of September. I started with Kyle ish. I think it was like the last week of September because he goes on his like big vacation. And then I started. So when I started, he needed help with soil sampling. I was calling Bridget and I was like, hey, yo, I need to do something new. My brain needs like to be exercised. I don't know. I was just like, I need something new. And I think that's part of why what I do works for me is because I'm always like, I need more. Maybe I have problems. Anyway, I talked to Kyle. He's like, yeah, we can get you out soil sampling. And because I think he mentioned that you did it with him for a little bit. And then he didn't have his other intern anymore because he was in school. So he's like, yeah, I just need help. So I started, and it was really nice to be in a pickup because I used to pull soil samples for Simplot in college for like a couple weeks, and that was awful because it was a hand probe. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, terrible. On a side by side that I had to haul around everywhere, terrible.
So
on a
you
trailer,
would,
like not even in the back of the pickup.
so you would trailer a side by side with a hand probe. How big were the fields that you were pulling?
I don't even remember. They were probably like half quarter section, like
A
they were
half section?
yeah, like smallish, maybe.
Well, a half section is like fairly,
They
as
were-
you go west,
yeah.
you're going to find some,
They
obviously.
weren't like super duper huge, but they weren't. I cannot remember. It was so long ago, and I don't know like the average field in southern Idaho.
Was that for potato production for Simplot?
There was a lot of hay fields, a lot of pivot irrigation stuff.
So you've soil sampled.
Yeah, I soil sampled with a hand probe. So everyone that like comes at me in my comments, I'm like, brother, I've been there. I've been in the trenches of soil sampling. I get it. Because they're like, oh, you're so spoiled. Your hydraulic pump soil probe. I'm like, I've been there.
There is a fine line between tough and stupid.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That might be harsh to the audience.
Well, you've got to
We
work
might have to do
smarter, not
something.
harder.
There we go.
Exactly. And the thing is too is like I think one misconception about like the whole northern prairies, people don't think about the 6 to 24 inch depth for soil sampling, and same thing with like testing for nitrate. So you might look at us and be like, oh, you guys are so fluffy in your soil sampling trucks, but that's a huge way for us to get that 6 to 24 inch data.
The knot in my shoulder would suggest otherwise.
Well, and we need that data so we can get that nitrogen data. And the irony is when we actually need to be pulling that in drought situations, oftentimes that ground is extremely hard. So
you can't push anything farther than
yes.
3 inches when it's so dry, and this year was dry.
Yeah, because you saw, when you started back in September, like it was very dry. In
It was
Western North
really
Dakota.
dry. Like after it rained, it made a world of difference. So I know Kyle probably struggled more than I did at some point. I don't know, because Kyle got on the group and was like, yeah, this is terrible. And I was like, I haven't been having issues. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong with yours. It's been fine. I haven't noticed, but I'm sure it was just his experience, like, because I hadn't had prior experience, so I didn't know what it was like to have a nice soil core. So I was used to like 18 max inches, and he's like, no, they should be pulling 24. So yeah.
But that's nice, like starting with the hard stuff so that you don't know any better.
Yeah,
perfect.
Exactly. So hopefully next year
got
not
better.
harder. Exactly.
See?
Yeah.
Miracles.
It rained and then it was great again. Except corn stubble. Like, I hate sampling on corn stubble.
Yeah. And it's kind of
the
a fire
no-till
risk.
corn stubble that all the stalks are like up in your mirror and the pickup's just sitting there like the whole time, and it's just you get out of the pickup and you gotta like dig all the corn stalks out everywhere and the exhaust, and you can like you smell like a campfire because all your corn stalks are shoved up in your exhaust because the little probe thing is just sitting there like blocking everything from
Nothing
getting
says
out.
safety like soil sampling on no-till residue.
CSOS signals, it's not on purpose.
those are accidental.
Those are
accidental
not intentional. Yeah.
smoke signals.
So Kyle on his soil sampling pickups actually has that push bar in the front. I know he likes to use it on sunflowers.
He has it on his white one, but not the black one.
Okay. Did you get to use it on the white one at all?
I did on the sunflowers, yes.
How did it work?
I think it worked fine. I didn't really notice because it just plowed through it anyway. But it worked to not like get stuff stuck in there. When I got out of the field, I did notice there was a lot less stock issues.
Okay.
So it went good.
Awesome.
The first time I used it, I think Kyle was busy or something. I couldn't get a hold of him. So I pushed it down and then I couldn't find any pins. So I used a freaking paper clip to hold the whole thing. And he's like, I normally don't do that. It's like, I don't even pin the thing. I just push it down. I'm like, brother, I didn't know.
Where's the instructions here? Help me
Yeah,
out.
I mean, I was just assuring that it was
sister out.
secure. That's all. Did you a favor.
That's so funny. Just MacGyver it. Literal
Yeah.
paperclip.
Yeah. So
Emma MacGyver.
and you have paper clips all over because those AgVise samples, like we paperclip all of them together for a field. So there's paper clips literally everywhere. Like if you need something and you can't do it with a paper clip, you're probably in the wrong profession.
So please tell me that you've got WD-40 in your cab.
Yes. I never used
And-
it though.
What?
I used it one day.
Oh,
But then
Dry
I switched
Western
to
North Dakota.
I switched to a
suppose.
non-slotted probe that day though because it was literally awful. That's the day that I hit a rock. Like a really bad. That was the day it was snowing. It was whiteout conditions. I hit a rock. My probe was disgusting. There was mud water everywhere. Like it was nasty.
I think I remember seeing some of those
Yeah.
pictures.
Because I
like,
sent a video to the
wow.
probe posse and I was like, I don't think I've ever sworn more.
So there is this internal group Snapchat.
Oh yeah, sorry, I mention it all the time.
And I don't.
What is this?
So there's some of us out there that enjoy soil sampling probably more than we should, and we turn it into we try to make it as pleasant as possible. We learn from each other. We have a couple members or a member down in South Dakota. We have some members out in Dickinson, one by Dickinson, North Dakota, one by Devil's Lake, North Dakota, and then I'm over here by Hillsboro, Halstead, in the midst of the Red River Valley, and Jody is up at Northwood, which is just on the edge of the Red River Valley, kind of going out of the Red River Valley of North Dakota. And then we've also got a gal who's up by
Basically
Crosby.
in Canada.
Yeah.
She lives with the moose.
Yeah. Northwest North Dakota. She's very close to the Canadian border. So we've got a lot of geography differences in there. And we
And
just
you got Lane in South Dakota.
Yep.
You already said that.
hmm And so we just like exchange snaps all day long and we see what everybody's doing. And so, yeah, when Emma got to experience soil sampling in the snow, I was like, wow, that's a lot of mud in that cab. It was impressive. I'm not going to lie.
I told Kyle I will never be doing that again. And I will be on the combine's rear end if that means I never have to sample in the snow again. Which probably isn't realistic, but I told him next year if I have to do this, I won't be.
Never
That
is a long
was just
time.
a really bad day. So
Yeah, you gotta have those character building days. It
Yeah.
makes the good ones really
it
good.
really does. I really appreciated the summer
Mhm.
after that day. Because I hit that rock on my passenger side and I didn't see it because the wind and the snow was blowing and I just thought it was dirt. I ran over it and my whole pickup just like boom, boom. And I was on my head. I hit the ceiling, everything. Like it was bad. And then my exhaust is sitting there like, and I'm like, I was hotboxing myself because the exhaust broke off. And it's right by the hole, like the soil sampling hole's right here. The exhaust is separates right there. So I was hotboxing myself. I had to keep the window down, like cracked for the rest of the day.
Yeah, while it was snowing.
Yeah. So, and then we had to drive home. We literally pulled out of the last field because we were like, we literally can't do anything about this. And it was being unsafe to stay there more. So we were in the pit of the worst of the blizzard that was happening that day. And then the wind was like, oh, you thought you were getting out of here alive? Shoddy. We can say otherwise. So we drove home. We got back on the interstate. I don't know. I was literally so scared. And then my exhaust, I couldn't hear myself think because it was just like in the cab, like a little rice burner. It was terrible. So
this
that was a nightmare in itself.
I was gonna say this probably did not help to like quell any of your dreams about soil sampling.
Yeah.
Do you want to share any of your soil sampling dreams? Because I asked this because you are not the only person that has dreamt about either like field scouting or
I
soil
can't even
sampling.
fathom the nightmares I'm gonna have about scouting. I don't even want to know.
You're an agronomist when you have bad dreams about kochia and WD-40 in your soil sample probe. You guys laugh because you know I'm right.
It's a part of the territory.
Yeah, it's just terrifying. Well, the week prior to the snowstorm event, I had a dream that I was like driving around soil sampling and my tire fell off or something. I honestly can't remember my dream, like the nightmares. It was nightmares. I can't even remember what I was dreaming about anymore, but they were scary. And I always told the group about it, and they're like, Emma, I think you need to go to therapy. Jenna's like, are you okay?
Every now and again, Emma likes to come onto our Snapchat group and share with us what her agronomy dreams are. They're very vibrant dreams.
They're not scouting dreams yet, though. It's just soil sampling. So I can't imagine what the bugs are going to do to me. The wire worms. Oh, I can't. Oh.
I don't think
Are you an entomologist type person?
No, I just hate bugs.
You
like
and me both.
the feeling of bugs being. No, thank you.
You know, for like scouting, I think you're in a really good place.
Yeah. I mean, we do a lot of like wire worm stuff. And I haven't seen a lot of other. Yeah. So.
I used to work with a guy from like Missouri, and they would do corn detasseling for seed corn. And they would go up to the tassels, and like the tassels would be full of aphids. And of course, you got to detassel it so your hands are like full of aphid juice the whole time.
I would cry. I would not. Disgusting. I always hear about the detasseling kids, and I'm like, y'all stronger than me.
Have you worked on a detasseling crew yet?
No, I haven't, and I don't think I will, because I'm like, walking through cornfields me off. Like just getting so itchy and everything. Like I've worked in cornfields before. Like I've done a lot of data stuff with people before. We had a whole day that we had to go pick corn, like for data collection. And I was so itchy for like a week. So I told Kyle when he has to go scout cornfields, forget I exist, because it's a good learning experience. So I just prefer to not. When the corn leaves are scratching up, it's fine. Like we used to run through cornfields all the time when we were kids, but only when necessary.
I don't like doing scouting at corn either.
Yeah. Like short corn is fine, but
yeah.
I've been sliced in the eye. Yeah. It's not good.
Like
you got to wear like goggles. You got to go in there looking like a chemist.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So it's not my cup of tea.
I hear you.
I'm good.
There are softer crops out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't remember specifics about the dreams that I had. That's going to make me mad. I think I might have saved it in my Snapchat memories, honestly, because it was so cooked that it's like, dude, you need to record that.
Have you had like similar dreams still about like any of the other jobs that you've done like in agriculture?
Oh yeah, I've had dreams about like dying in tractors and stuff like that.
Oh no, that's
it's not dream. That's not. I have nightmares about work. So, or like the typical being late for work, kind of, It's like when you're a kid and you dream about missing the school bus and or you have to get on the school bus naked or something. Sorry. But my brain is fried. I don't know why, but.
Well, it sounds like your dreams about soil sampling are at least like doesn't involve you dying, right?
No, it's just like
great.
weird stuff that, I think I had a dream about like phantom probes. Like I kept probing and like it just came back empty every single time. I was getting so mad. And like I had a dream about being in Garrison or something, but I didn't know, like my brain, I woke up and I was like, how did my brain know that Garrison was a place? Because there's one field that we sample called Garrison, and I didn't know it was an actual town in North Dakota because I don't pay enough attention to be like, oh yeah, that field's named Garrison because it's in Garrison. Crazy. So I woke up, but I remember that I was having a dream and I like had to look on Google Maps to find out where I was going, and it pointed me right to Garrison, like where Garrison is on an actual map. My head remembered that, and so it was like, you're going to Garrison, but it was a little off, you know. I was like, how did I know that though? Because I've never looked for Garrison. Like I knew it was a field name, but why did it take me exactly right there?
The brain's amazing. You probably looked at a map like 10 years ago and like had some sort of like nugget.
When we have all this stuff pulled up and you're just looking at maps everywhere. That's like the only thing I can think of that it would have popped up. Crazy.
Oh, I love it. Stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
So
I'll be sure to keep you guys posted on more of my nightmares. Maybe I'll make it a TikTok series.
TikTok is back.
It was like a toxic ex-boyfriend. It's gonna dump you one night and be like, Shawty, I miss you the next morning.
That is the best explanation of TikTok
I didn't even
ever.
notice. I was sleeping the whole time it was banned. Like I wake up and I get one alert and I'm like, oh, that pisses me off. And then you log on like 3 hours later because you have a crippling TikTok addiction and you keep checking the app anyway, you know, and then all of a sudden lunchtime it's back up.
Here you go.
Didn't even lose any money off it, man. Like, it wasn't even gone long enough to miss it. They hyped that up for a month for nothing.
They needed.
I think it was a
something to talk
marketing
about.
stint.
No, marketing people would never do that.
I don't think so. It seems illogical. I know, but
oh goodness. Okay, so you're kind of in the agronomy world right now, and you're planning on being in the agronomy world through the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go, I am going to ask, you're doing soil sampling, you got to do crop scouting. What do you think is going to be your most favorite part of agronomy by the time you're working for Kyle for a year?
I think when I get to tie it all in together on fields that I've like created maps for, to making roundabout on scouting and seeing where all like the issues came from, and then like finally knocking it in the bud. I mean, like that was the issue. Or being able to see like that's what that affects, or that's why that's a red zone, or these are the issues that were only in the red zones, and here's what the protein looks like on it. I love connecting the dots. It just that's why I'm here.
Oh man, you're gonna love the next year. It's gonna be great. Well, part of the soil sampling and the map making is that Emma has been using our software, and so on the next episode, we will be talking to her a little bit more about that and her experiences with precision agriculture so far. It's going to be a great conversation. This was a very fun conversation to have with you, just getting a chance to meet you a little bit more and learn a little bit more about you. So with that, we're going to bid everybody adieu for this episode. And at GK Technology,
We have a map.
and an app for that.
Let the geeks at GK Technology help you with your agricultural data. Their agronomists know agriculture. When it comes to creating soils and zone maps to maximize yields in your fields, you can trust the people with decades of experience in site-specific agriculture. Everyone at GK Technology has a background in agriculture, so they know what makes a farm run, and they speak your language. The geeks at GK Technology have a map and an app for that.